Okay, hey, collective. It's Jenn Lady Tarot 911. Thanks for being here. Let's take a look at your energy right now, collective, and then we will look at the your person. Sorry, your person's energy. Let's do a side by side of what's happening right now. Okay. So okay. Well, oh. Okay. Well, that'll be the middle card, bridging, since it's in that position. Let's go ahead and ask about your energy at this time. What is my collective's energy? What is the message that you want me to let them know? I just wanted to jump right in. I've already Palo Santo'd and I just wanted to get going. Your energy. There's something that maybe you're having a hard time letting go of. What is your person's energy? What is your person's energy at this time? Let's see. What is your person's energy at this time? I almost feel like these are swapped. Like, no. Okay. Right now I feel like you are having a hard time letting something go, whether it be some type of mind frame or just that part of that transformation that we've been talking about in August. What is my viewer having a hard time letting go of at this time? Just to pull another card real quick before I pull the bridging card. So this is going another layer. Oh, okay. All of these um, flipped over. There's some type of distance from something that you wish for. There is something that has been on your radar for a long time, and you're having a hard time just sticking with it, staying with it. I think this is more of like a mind frame because this is about an emotion, a wish. There's something that you have been holding on to that maybe didn't work out the way that you wanted it to. But this is saying that holding on to this right now is not doing you any good because it's taking your energy and it's like it talks about here, energy vampire. There's some type of distance that you can't close, that you wish to close or that you wanted to close. There was some type of wish fulfillment that hadn't come true, and now you're stuck in a decision where you have to decide whether to keep walking down that road of unknown and to stay stuck where you are, to how to move away from something when maybe your heart or your soul just feels like it's still tethered. Tell me about this higher self activation of the person on my viewer's mind. What is this about? Now, awakening, your person is becoming more aware of like present and maybe truths. Yeah, because there has been confusion on their side. They're getting clarity. However, they're facing you. They are facing in your direction because of belief systems, things that they have been taught all their life that have, you both have the same kind of sense of control. Yours is more, yours is more control over like your energy and a decision to hold on to something that might be in its current state toxic. Not saying you're toxic, but the situation, the mind frame, the way of thinking. It's kind of like an Eight of Swords energy. In fact, let's pull some tarot on this. And then for your person, they too are stuck, but this isn't just the ways that they have lived their life, their behaviors, how they've handled situations. And they're starting to see that a lot of that they've been lied to, or there's been confusion. They're confused because it almost seems like they haven't been seeing things clearly. They haven't been maybe seeing you clearly. They could have given you the cold shoulder. As I'm trying to shuffle this one popped out. So look at that in just a second, but I'm told to turn this one over. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, what was I saying? Letting go, right? This, when it's upright, if it is a reverse card, when it's upright and it comes as a bridge or a block, it'll be in that direction. However, because this one was this way, that means that in the normal direction, it would be considered a reversed card, but the reversal is in a neutral position. There's this contemplating on whether to stay or go, to continue the thoughts, the energy given to something, or to let it go and to move forward. For them, it is letting go of and awakening and allowing the receptivity of the possibility that there are that they can think outside the box, that there are other truths, that what maybe they have been taught all their life might not have been truths or is now no longer valid in the world, in the life that we live in. And basically this is saying that the release, the surrender, the letting go has not been happening. However, there is contemplation at least. There's a thinking about something at least at this point. They're thinking about how they've always been taught, how they've always been taught to live, their cultures, their values, what they believe in, what they believe to be true. You are trying to surrender to allowing the situation to be what it was and to be able to let it go, let it be what it was, and not live in the haunting memories of that, and be able to move beyond the challenges of maybe a wish not working out, something not working out, the way that you felt like you were going to be able to get your justice didn't come to pass, is what I'm getting. Tell me, what do you want them to know about the person that's on their mind? So, belief systems about job, investments, what they invest their time in, they value, and this is a lot like the divine masculine, they value or have been taught to value themselves based on their career, how much money they can make, how much they can provide. Their self-worth has been based on their successes, okay? And their belief system was working harder, no matter what. If it's not working, work it harder. If it looks like it's going down the wrong path, work harder. Work harder for your dreams, chase your dreams, go after your dreams. And yes, that's something that, we do. But there's a lot to say about the narrative of receiving and allowing. So their side of this has been more about chase of the dream, chase of the career, chase of the success, because then it would bloom a higher ego, more power, a self-worth validation to them that they were important, that they were supreme, or maybe not even supreme, but worthy, right? Then tell me about, and this could be within a job, illusions about a job, illusions, maybe they're really seeing corporate America for what it is, or they're being guided to use more of their gifts that they don't, the belief system has been very practical and logical and very 3D materials, right? That is the security base for them. That's their foundation. Now, for you, yeah, it has been more about what makes you happy, what brings emotional fulfillment. So here on this site, it's 5D, right? You hear a lot about 3D transformation, 5D transformation, trusting that there can be a balance with esoteric or ethereal and metaphysical narratives, trusting that balancing out those emotions with things that might not matter as much. The feminine energy is very much about nurturing, about feelings, about how does somebody feel, how do you treat somebody, compassion in a 3D based world, in the world that we live in, because we are a energetic soul living a human experience. That to be able to survive in the 3D world, it takes the practicality, it takes the materials to at least survive, right? We can't just survive on love. We can't just survive on physically. Our physical bodies couldn't just survive on happiness. So it's a fight, and it's a rebirth, a transformation going on with them right now in their physical life. And with you, it is a rebirth, a re-understanding, clarification is what I'm hearing, of emotions, and how important it is to balance out emotions with practicality, with 3D. And the problem is that both sides are mirroring each other. In this side, the divine masculine, and this could be outside of yourself or within yourself, the divine masculine part. So let's bring this to maybe a different way of looking at it. So if this was the divine masculine part in you, this would be the, why should I take action on 3D materialistic things when I'm hurting so bad? Or what does it matter, because it's not going to solve the hurt, it's not going to band-aid the hurt, it's not going to fix the hurt. Where's the hurt? Where's the root coming from? And so taking more action towards creativity, or towards work, or towards things that are practical 3D, to this side, the more feminine side, doesn't seem like it's going to help heal the emotional part with Pentacles. Some of you could care less about the Pentacles because you are so heavy on your feminine side, and it's like the emotional blocks are getting in the way of being able to be successful, or be abundant, or start your creativity, start your craft, start your side hustles. There's just this weighing of the emotions on you that has become toxic because of a wishing for the emotional part to be healed first before balancing out with the 3D, and vice versa. They're wanting to build up a foundation, build up money, build up careers and success, because they feel at that point then that would healing this first in them, their self-worth, then they might be able to lend to relationships, or something that's, the emotions come later, essentially, right? This money comes first, emotions later. On this side, the feminine side, emotions come first, money later. Over here, money first, emotions later. Hopefully that makes sense, right? So you both are kind of mirroring each other. This could be divine connection, twin flame. This is the absolute balancing. This could very well be just within you. Now, you're getting closer. This is a 19, which is a 10 card, and this is an 8 card. In between these is a missing piece of the puzzle. Let's find out what that missing piece of the puzzle is, because you've got 8, and then where's the 9, right? Where's the 9 at, and 10? Well, it could be the 9 is the not completing a cycle, karmic cycle, releasing, maybe your karma has been learning about emotional stability. Maybe theirs, if it's outside of you, maybe theirs has been about learning about how money does not solve all problems. It doesn't make you happy like you thought. It doesn't bring you self-worth when nothing else in your life matters, and money is the only thing that matters, because then who do you share it with, right? Ooh, I like that. I like that setup better. That's more aligned, right? And I think that's a message in itself here. Channel messages. You both are trying to get aligned, because there has to be this switching of ideology. Like we talked about, there has to be this switch, finding happiness with investing in yourself, right? Now, this is not where this card laid, but this is the direction. She's facing that direction. She is facing this direction, right? Yeah, hang on just one second. So the masculine energy is confused about which direction to go. Do they go towards you? Do they go within? Do they turn their back on this situation? They're confused on, and they're getting burned out. Okay, so just be aware of that. So this and this energy is looking more this direction, right? So this energy here, you've turned your back, but you haven't started taking that action, right? Because the action comes from, this action is in, by releasing this action is in the neutral position. So this action is being held back by a wish fulfillment that you can't seem to radically accept, essentially, or that has taken, there's a distance between you being able to not close off your heart, but still be able to accept the situation, and knowing that you'll get to a better place, but you have to go through this alone. You have to isolate, you have to go between the challenges, and the challenges mainly being the emotions and the emotional pull and the emotions due to like the ocean here. But when I was talking about the ideology switching, there has to be, once this turns, this karmic cycle turns, and there is release on both sides, that's when that ideology will switch, and there will be an understanding and awakening to, does money truly bring me happiness? And then on this side, it is investing. Well, both sides is investing in yourself, right? But does money, where does my true happiness lie in the masculine energy? And then the work that needs to be put in to be able to first have sustainability and success with your own foundation, which will take putting your heart aside and using a more practical, logical blueprint, a plan. Sun in Virgo, Sun goes into Virgo on the 23rd, which is on Sunday, and that's a lot about enlightenment in regards to a plan. This is kind of on that path, on the way there to, here, give me just a second, on the path to refining yourself in what you've believed in and your feelings, and balancing that energy. We're not there yet, but when I arrange this, right, this is like this. This is in a neutral position, because we've moved from being completely involved, not paying attention, but we're all having kind of this transformation, awakening within ourselves in some situations, which brings us closer to more alignment and more. And that's why this isn't completely reversed. It's actually starting to turn, right? Because we are all contemplating a different way, a refinement of our emotions, our actions that we take, what's important to us, what we need to work on, the switching. There's going to be a crossing at some point of those. Give me another oracle on this. This is my junk oracle, junk journal oracle. Sorry, not my junk oracle. This is very balanced in the way that it's aligning, for sure. It's not completely aligned, because this is not upright. The release, once the release of the importance of money, the fear of lack, the chase or and changing this into receiving, and the releasing and surrendering of not having to be completely emotionally set and stable with any type of band-aids from anybody else, validation, whether this is in yourself or just trying to balance out emotions. Once those two situations have released the challenges and the patterns and the childhood downloads, or the downloads, the beliefs, the truths that they've lived with for so long, you, them, or with just within you, once that's released, then the ideologies will switch, and the karmic cycle will have closed up, and the lessons will have been learned, and then it's on to new things, right? It's on to new ways of learning. It could be that these two energies, either within yourself, let's look at that real quick and let me explain that. If these ideologies switch, there's going to be new learning where you're both in deep to there. It's kind of like a teeter-totter where you get on it and the whole thing, right? And they get on their own teeter-totter and the whole thing just kind of, because there's nobody on the other side, right? It's going to take collaboration, either if it's within yourself with some type of soul project or with divine, for divine to bear the weight of that teeter-totter to bring alignment, where once these ideologies have switched and you're deep into finding happiness in the practical, the money, the stability and the security, and they're deep into their heart chakra, their emotions, they're bringing feelings to the surface, okay? When those ideologies switch, when this has been released, right? And there is you getting on this teeter-totter of practicality and 3D, and them getting on this practicality of metaphysical 5D, subconscious, emotional, more feminine energy, that can also get out of balance. So it is a learning lessons this way first, and we're getting closer to that. And then when that goes upright and surrender has taken place, then you go deep into the opposite sides of that. Then it's going to have to be, and you've learned your lessons from here, right? You're learning your lessons. And then when the ideology switches, then you jump deep into the other side of it. It's going to take some other type of lesson, and I'll find out what that lesson is going to be. This was the lesson of you on the teeter-totter on that side. I'm going to find out what the lesson is when you're deep involved on the other side of that. And it could just be you not overcompensating with money and them not hiding away because of emotions, because both of these sides are so unfamiliar to each side, divine masculine, divine feminine. When the divine masculine is swimming in divine feminine energy and divine feminine is swimming in divine masculine energy, there's a lot of relearning, a lot of give and take within yourselves. There's a lot of learning about speaking emotions. There's a lot of learning about being too aggressive, being too passive. Then at that point, then there's going to have to be this realignment again. And I'm assuming that there will be that switch again, but it will be more like it'll end up like that, where there's a complete balance and an alignment once both sides have learned both sides of the lessons, right? And learned not only the lessons, but how to correctly balance masculine, feminine energy and the lessons, and then whatever the lesson was when it was like this, when you guys had switched sides of the teeter-totter. And then when you guys come back together, learning how to create, I hope you can see all that. Yeah, oh, yeah, nice. Learning to create and maintain the balance, right? Of what I invest my time in that makes me happy. What I always release and clear the path for, to work on, to have a plan for, that makes me happy. Before I move on to the junk journal, since I spoke about that, let me find out. So what is the lesson when the ideologies have changed and the masculine and feminine have switched sides? They've released and surrendered what they needed to, and they're coming into more alignment. Tell me about what the lesson will be then. So it'll be at the bottom of the deck, like the challenge. What will be... Well, okay, I grabbed this deck. I should have grabbed the other deck, but that's okay. We'll use this one because that's one I grabbed. It's meant to be. What's going to be the lesson when the divine masculine and divine feminine have switched the teeter-totter on the teeter-totter side? What's going to be the lesson at that point? Oh, look at how that landed. I was going to pull from the bottom of the deck, but nope. And that's exactly what I was going for, was a cross card, because again, it's about turning it. This is allowing this feminine energy. This is about what brings long-term, learning about what brings long-term emotional stability. When the feminine energy is in more of this practical 3D side hustle, career, job, focused on her money, okay, she's also going to have to learn, okay, well, I need to balance that with the emotion that I've already learned lessons about. And so then I'm learning how to correctly bring balance to the actions that I take, to be independent and to have the jobs, careers, the side hustles, the stability and security. And the masculine is learning that it's okay, that it's needed to express feelings that back in the day, children who were raised or childhood downloads taught kids that they shouldn't cry, or especially the masculine energy, they shouldn't cry. It wasn't okay. They needed to repress their feelings. But that's brought a lot of challenges, a lot of problems to our current day with anger and rage and not being able to control things, and greed and power. The masculine energy is going to learn about emotional stability, that it is, and vulnerability. That's the word I'm hearing, is vulnerability. Do you see how that's going to balance out? And when they come back together, this one will be then, because did you see this one was reversed and then this one was upright, but it still needed to be turned. Then at that point, there's going to be this complete balance. And I don't know when this is, but there's going to be this complete balance where subconscious is guiding with happiness. And there's going to be a surrender and allowing to energy at play, the balancing of masculine and feminine energy, either, well, first inside you and then outside you. And it's going to be the balance between, it's the work-life balance, work-life, 3D, 5D, the stability, emotional stability, security, tangible security, emotional security. And there's going to be this balance. But for right, and that's truly, the happiness is going to be driving that. And the neutral point that I talk about, the really high, if you had to, and I'll go over it real quick with you. So if, let's say that this was a scale of how you feel emotionally. Or you could, if you're more practical, you're more in your masculine, practically, right? This is the scale of success. So here is the neutral point, right? If you had to choose where you'd be out of these 4 cards, okay, let's do this in quarter increments, right? So 25, 50, 75, and 100. Let's do it the other way, 25, 50, 75, and 100% happy with either emotions, or like that you would like to be emotionally happy, or success. How successful would you want to be? 25%, 50%, 75%, 100%, right? Most people go for the 100%. Well, because they're just like, well, that's ultimate. That's premium. That's elite. That's flying first class, right? The issue with always being here, this line of happiness or success, the problem is that everything has an opposite in life, right? It's the opposites of the end of the spectrum. If this is the greatest amount of joy, this is the least amount of joy. If this is the greatest success, this is the least amount of success. At some point, if you're up here, right, your ebb and flow is up here, it is going to have to drop to the opposite of that, is the least amount. And so you're gonna have these real high highs and these real low lows. So wouldn't it be smarter to bring yourself to neutral and be like, well, some days will be good, some days won't be so good. I'm not saying that these aren't good. I'm just saying that, like, some days when we're talking about, if I turn these over, and these were 100%, 75%, because I don't want you to get mixed up that I'm talking about sun and happiness. So that's elite, 100%, 75%, 50%, and 25%. So if you are neutral, then some days you might be 75% happy with the day or the way you're feeling or whatever, and some days it might be 100%. But other days, it might not feel so hot, right? And you might hit that 50% mark, or the 25% mark, right? If you can remain completely in the middle, so that ebb and flow, right? That ebb and flow might not be so high, but it also might not be so low. But if you can remain more neutral and go about your day and your life staying neutral about things, as Steve puts it, and I was actually thinking about this last night. I don't know why it came to me last night, but he says, all good things come to those who don't give a shit whether they get them or not. And that is right here. That is where you would land right there, is because then your ebb and flow throughout life, throughout your day, always remains just right here. So yeah, you might not have that high adrenaline, impulsive, get yourself into trouble, always feeling so great, but then you're also not going to have that low. And it's just kind of this ebb and flow just remains real neutral. So things that are really exciting might not respond to them the same way as somebody else. But then also when somebody's really depressed and like hit rock bottom, you won't get into into those moments either, because you are accepting that whatever happens. It's going the flow of the river, and it is just allowing to receive and give. It's reciprocity. It just remains very balanced. And that's what the universe's principles of everything is based on that. And something that I learned the other day that I found fascinating is about cocaine. And because I was listening to a therapist about just emotional stability. Now, I don't do drugs. I've never done cocaine. That is not something that I look into. It just is a topic that he brought up, and it was very valid because he was talking about, I'm very much into neuropsychology, and he was talking about the fact that and that I didn't know, that Coke it has this adrenaline dump that is so high, so great, that when there is a return to a neutral state, anything and everything that comes after that is pale and mundane in comparison. So getting to the highest high on that particular substance almost hinders any other type of enjoyment after, because nothing compares to it, and is why there is this need. And maybe other substances could be compared this way, but I don't do substances, so I choose not to do them. I don't know a lot about it, but his topic was that certain substance. When anything else comes about, even just like a good job, or being stable in a committed relationship, those things that are closer to the neutral line, right, are mundane and don't satisfy because of the dump of adrenaline that this mind experienced here on that substance that is outside of reality. You can see it by itself, right? Outside of reality. But so is hitting rock bottom. The only way to go when you've hit rock bottom is up, right? So this is by itself. There's not a lot that, that supports this. There's not a lot that supports this, because there's always going to be a release and a dump back into a neutral, balanced, a zen or a balanced type of, your body always is trying to balance your electrolytes, your chemicals in your body, your blood pH, all of that. My point is that it gives you a good idea, that it gives you a good reference to see that this elite might, the most amount of money, being a million gabillionaire, is so much better than anything else. Yeah, okay, but a lot of times million billionaires end up doing drugs because having that much money, they reach that point already. It's kind of like, well, everybody else who's trying to get money, or trying to get fame, or trying to get success, they're going along and they have a goal. It's like, well, before I get off on that, it's a goal that they're aiming for. There's something that they're striving for. But when you reach this point, there's not much more to be striving for when it comes to that certain accomplishment, right? When you're a million billionaire, more money really doesn't excite you that much. But here you are alone, because most people aren't here in that elite status in everything in their life. It's more of this maintenance, or this neutral point where there can still be striving for things. There can still be happiness, and there still can be sadness, but whatever happens, happens. But these big surges of energy, or happiness, or money, or successes are doomed in a way, because the higher you go up on the roller coaster, the fall down is going to be further and faster down, right? To down here. And I'm not talking about sun, so don't look at the meanings of the cards. I'm just talking about the levels of that, the neutrality, the set point. So hopefully that makes sense. I mean, hopefully visually I've done okay in explaining it. I guess if you don't want those massive roller coaster dumps, because these dumps down here, not the sun card, but these dumps down here, rock bottom, suck, right? And it does, the longer you hit high highs and hit rock bottom, the more it wears on your energy, on your time, on your ability to move forward. Because if you think about it also, and oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm getting into this very basic, when you have really high highs and really low lows, you are not going to get further faster, because it is going to stay very vertical, right? Because it's going to be a wave. I'm thinking of an EKG. It's going to be a wave it's going to take longer to get to certain points in your life, versus when you are like your I don't know, center of gravity is closer to the ground. You can move faster. You have less resistance by moving closer to central, to neutral. You can get to places in your life faster than with the high highs and the low lows. Does that make sense? And that's, I don't even know what that is. That just is it's some law of something, kinetic energy or something like that. I don't know. Some scientific principle that I don't know why that came to me, but it gives you a good idea that a safe and neutral, stable, yet still can be happy place to put yourself, to try and bring yourself back to when things get out of control and they go south, or they're going north. You're doing great. That's great, but that's why they talk about go touch grass, kid, or grounding yourself, is bringing yourself back to try and remain. This is the goal of life, is this line right here. This is the goal. Not this, obviously not, well, not sun. Don't look at sun. You know what I'm talking about. Not rock bottom. Maybe this is giving a message that right now you feel like your happiness is in, in the toilet, and just it has dumped. And so this could be depression. It could be really, and I am a registered nurse, but I'm not a doctor and I don't diagnose people. I'm just saying that this could be a message showing that right now maybe your happiness is not in the greatest place. Maybe you did have a big high and a dump, or your person did. But this is what the energy is trying to teach us, transforming to get those ideologies shifted, because we are too heavy on the teeter-totter on one side. All right, so that's enough. This has been a long enough read. It gives you an idea of what the energy is. I'm just going to give you one more message from the universe, from God, universe, divine, source, whatever you call it. It's all the same, I guess I could say. An advice. So going back to where we're at right now, again, remember, so this hasn't even appeared yet. This is still in the neutral position. This is here, and this is here. What is the advice about this situation as it stands right now? What's the best advice from you, divine, to my collective on how to get past this next baby step, this next this next point? Okay, so that one. Oh, two. Okay. Oh, I'm hearing one for each side. Okay. All right. So which side? Okay. All right. Here we go. So for the masculine side of this, forgotten records quietly hold answers, waiting rediscovery. Answers return. They are awakening and opening to new knowledge, to new answers. The answers are coming for them to get clarity. It could be through tarot reads. It could be through my read. I mean, if you are here, you manifested me for answers, for clarity, for validity, for some type of explanation. Maybe you needed the explanation about the net point and how important it is to remain neutral. Bring yourself, this is present, bring yourself back to present as well, right? A lot of times I separate my reads to past, present, future. This is present. This is center. Bring yourself back to center. Ground yourself, present moment, right? Just, it stabilizes you. So the answers are coming on how the masculine energy, or the truths, finally seeing something for what it is, the aha moment, my candle is up here, so like enlightenment is coming. And it might be something that is, I'm hearing just spontaneous, right? It's just a spontaneous understanding. For the feminine side, a past opportunity still leaves lasting influence. And this to me is a ticket, an opportunity to transmute that energy and use the pain of something from the past, or something you're contemplating, a wish maybe that didn't come to pass, something emotional. It's offering you an opportunity. It's giving you a ticket on this journey, on this train ride, on this progress that you can make. It's going to show you an opportunity from the past that will allow you to accept that ticket, and to visually show you, I'm hearing, the progress that you're making. It's going to help confirm that in some way. Something is going to come along that makes you feel like, okay, I am on the right path. This is the way that I need to go. And it's going to help you move beyond this toxicity and find your happiness, find happiness in investing in yourself, investing in this ticket to finding you and finding your stability and security, which then brings you both to that. That was a pretty cool read, I must say. That was awesome. Thank you, Divine. Hopefully that helps you guys. You guys have a beautiful day. I'll see you on the next read. Bye.